You don't need him.
I've tried several times. It's like a rubber band. We just get pulled back.
You guys, man, I'm telling you what.
Does he pull you back or does you pull him back?
You guys.
Pulling,
Hey, everybody. This is Greg, and I'm here with
it's called Covenant.
Tonya and my youngest child, Elijah, for another episode of Ask
Mom
and Dad. We're so glad to be a part of this weird but growing community of people who just think that we are the coolest. We are hot stuff. We're the bee's knees. We are everything that there is that you desire and hope to be.
Who did you hear that from? Because I don't get that impression.
Well, I mean,
is it the way you build it up in your head? Like, this is how they think
Why
about
the
me.
bee's
Are you
knees?
talking about
Why
your
not
kids?
just like regular knees?
Like the
well, actually,
animal knees
thanks you bring that up, Elijah. We're going to talk a little bit about language this morning and its use. So I got started on one thing and we kind of went in another and direction with it. And I'm enjoying this a little bit more than I should. So we've invited Elijah in because between us, we represent two generations of the way people talk. And this show should be just fun without being too serious. But
we're kind of skipping one because millennials is in the middle there somewhere, right?
Yeah, millennials.
We have those kids too.
I could Google that, which is a slang term I just made up on the spot for Google it. Dang man,
I like Google better. Actually, is it more reliable? Because Google's a little left slanted.
Is it biased? I don't know. Are you biased? Let's Google some things. Okay, the Greatest Generation. We just finished watching I do recommend it. It was a good series on Apple TV if you have access to that called. No, it's called
Masters of the Air.
Masters of the Air, and it's about the bloody 100th Squadron, and it really takes a look at World War II from beginning to end through the eyes of the Air Force and how we, for the first time, had to gain air superiority. But that brings me to the language thing again. The language that was used in that movie, and which is terrible language. But the great generation, I'm joking, there was no bad language in it. It's a slang used in the language of the 40s, the Greatest Generation.
Oh, the things that they
I just used one
expressed.
in the opening. Yeah. The bee's knees means it's outstandingly good. Someone it's the bee's knees. It's the best. That was very common.
Where in the world did that one come from?
I don't know. I don't know where it came from.
I was thinking of a quote from one of my shows that I've watched. I don't want to be the bee's knees. I just want to be a regular girl with regular knees.
That's good. Yeah.
Okay, so see,
I don't think I want to be a bee's knees either.
So we're going to start out with this, and then I'm going to go and I'm going to let Elijah guess at some of our stuff, which he's going to know most of our stuff because he grew up in our house. But and then we're going to, then you and I are going to get, he's going to get back at us and throw out some Gen Z language, and mostly probably just
on our
explain
list
to
that
us
we don't have a clue about.
What the heck? Yeah, the list that you don't have a clue about, but I've kind of been.
I'm
through
never on TikTok, so it's more like gamer language to me.
Well, you can explain it that way too, because I think that's if Judah was here, I don't know that he was a TikToker that much. So
no, Micaiah is the one that understands TikTok language.
Yeah, we just have to call her into the phone, call her into the show, but she's too busy being a mom this morning.
On TikTok as well, or maybe it was Instagram.
Oh my goodness,
probably Instagram.
Okay, so what is a 23 skidoo?
What?
A 23 skidoo.
Skidoo?
Skidoo. K-I-D-O-O.
Did you actually use this one, Father?
Do not.
Never used it. This is 40s lingo. 30s or 40s. This is I told you, this is the greatest generation. We don't I'm the only
greatest generation?
They called it the greatest generation because of what they sacrificed for their country to be where it is today.
Their heroism allowed a lot of countries to be free that wouldn't be today. It would be under Hitler or Japanese rule, possibly.
But technically speaking, wasn't Hitler also part of that generation?
Well, but so he was the greatest villain.
They got him.
He was the greatest villain of a generation. So
created the best and the worst.
All right, let me just drop the 23 and say skidoo and see if you can guess what it is. Skidoo.
I don't have a clue. I already said that.
You want a shot?
No.
To get out quickly. To get out. It's like skedaddle. Skidoo. Skedaddle.
Okay.
Skedaddle, skidoo.
All wet.
Oh, you're all wet.
The 23 is what threw me off. I might have actually been able to guess it was just skidoo, but what the heck is the 23 for?
Right, that didn't make any sense.
I don't know. It means get out really fast. It's just there.
Is it like a code?
It says to leave quickly
skidoo,
or get out while it says get out while the getting's good.
So all wet would be one that's nothing you're saying is worth listening to. You're all wet. Right?
Yeah, you're all wet. It's everything you're saying is just not right. Yeah. This is all wet. We just did the bee's knees. Do you know what it is? It's an outstandingly good person, similar to the cat's pajamas.
Yeah, people still use bee's knees today.
Okay. Never heard that.
Cat's pajamas I thought was more of like a not understanding kind of thing, or I don't know, just like more of a mystery. I don't think someone
as like a cat's meow. That's funny.
Wow, that's as good as cat's pajamas. I don't know.
I've never heard of it before.
All right, this one's going to be easy. This one's going to be easy. You ready? The big cheese.
Yeah, that's like the big boss.
The big boss, the important person. What's bread?
Bread is money.
Bread is money. Cat's pajamas, something or someone's excellent. We just said that. How about clams?
Money.
Money.
Again.
Hey, baby, you got any clams?
That one we saw in Guys and Dolls with Judah.
Yeah. See, this is why I use this one. I figured it'd be kind of good too, also because we have some stuff.
And some of that, like in that setting, was New York vernacular, right? And it's not like the whole of the country. I don't think that would have been in the South.
Maybe. That's
bread would have been in the South.
Breadwinner. I love bread. That came from. And Jared.
Bread is very much used today still.
Yeah, it is. And Jared always uses for his, that he's going to work, he's going to go make bacon.
And a lot of people also use dough now instead of just bread. Let's get this dough.
It's transferred to bread dough.
It's pre-bread. It's like, what are you doing? I'm going to work to start kneading the dough so I can make some bread.
Yeah.
But you know where that comes from? The bread is literally the lifeblood of, that's even from the Bible, that bread is the sustenance. And so it's the lifeblood of the home. A breadwinner brought the, sustenance
so breaking this down. Listen, we were breaking it down.
Well, I'm just more curious because I'm a history buff. I'm more curious where they came from, where they originated, because there's some of them don't make any sense to us. But like Elijah was saying earlier, to gamers and that, and in that atmosphere, he knows a lot of context to things that he uses, but I wouldn't know it if I was listening to him. I'd think, where in the world, and what does that mean?
All right. Yeah. No. Okay. But you ready for it? Let's just to switch something else, a little more. No, not even doughy. I don't know where that comes from. Doll dizzy.
Don't know. Don't care.
You're dizzy for a doll.
You're dizzy for a doll, right? It's if you're really, 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 just smitten for a dame. Another term was a dame.
I know dame. Yeah.
Dame. Hey, she's a great dame. Okay, you ready?
Not a great dame. That's
a great dame. I didn't say Dane. I said she's a great dame. So she's a big.
Never mind.
No, that's not. How about a egg?
You're funny.
Is it an egg?
Yes. If it's an egg, it is a. Or if a person is an egg,
like
what are they?
They are an egg
from a chicken.
They have a very round.
This is a common. We use it today.
We use it today. Head. I don't know.
That isn't common, but we say someone's a good egg.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, no.
Yeah, if you say they're egg, they're a person who lives the big life.
Bad egg. It's not used nearly as much, and it's usually used towards kids. Tucked down.
Yeah.
How about a flapper?
Flapper. Just sounds like someone's mouth.
So the flappers of the 20s, anyway, had a particular look. There was a type of dress, a type of hairdo, even hat. Well, I don't know what it referred to.
They had a disdain for conventional. Anything conventional, they had a disdain for conventional dress and behavior. So that was just basically they went drinking and they dressed in.
Which became the convention, which is hilarious. That's these days. It's the what do they call it? The hipsters.
Hipsters
who do everything against society, and it becomes the trend, and so it's all the culture now. It's
hey, Elijah, you want to go out a little later and get a little giggle water? You know what giggle water is?
I don't care.
Oh, come on.
You mean
just
like
big water?
I'm assuming some sort of alcohol.
Yeah, it's alcoholic beverage. Giggle water is alcoholic beverage.
You may not do that. He's underage.
I know he's underage.
You're hilarious.
I so hate alcohol.
Yeah, that's okay.
Also, it's not a good substitute for water. And
no, not at all. And it does not make you giggle.
All right, back to the girls for a minute. What are gams?
Gams? It's games without E.
Is that your jaws? Like speaking?
I thought you'd get this right away.
Good.
You didn't?
Well, I know I've heard of it, but I'm thinking like it made me think of.
Check out the gams on that doll.
Okay. I was thinking of how they call us a good singer having good chops. That's what came to my mind.
Yeah.
But that's never mind. Moving on.
Take a guess. What? Gams are a lady's legs. So since if she's got a good set of gams.
Thank you. I'm glad you clarified that.
Yeah, well, that's not going to just leave it in the air. It's only the 40s. These people don't know what to do with this. So, I mean, let's see here. If something's Jake.
Okay.
State Farm?
I was going to say, no, that's Jared from Subway. Good. Never mind. None of that's appropriate.
What is Jake?
Jake is fine. It's fine. It's okay. It's Jake. We're Jake. It's good. We're fine. I got a few more, and then we'll move to the next one.
We don't have...
What's the kisser?
That generation.
Someone who kisses someone?
The mouth.
The mouth, yeah. He got smacked right in the kisser. It wasn't a kiss. You did not desire... You didn't desire to be kisser.
Yeah, it is. Like especially boxing terms, right?
How about something if it's keen?
Keen. That's
good.
You got good. Just
yeah.
Or like on
point.
On point is
that's
how
good.
I think of keen.
Yeah.
You got keen senses, on point senses.
Back to money, but it's a sawbuck. What's a sawbuck?
It's like I don't know. You sawed a buck in half.
I don't know.
It's a $10 bill. I didn't know that.
Why?
I just thought a sawbuck meant money, but it's a $10 bill.
Interesting.
It's a real McCoy, man.
As opposed to a Benjamin.
Mm-hmm. Swell, $10 bill, swell. Swell's a term. What's swell?
As well. Swell is like, I don't know, I just use it as well.
It's just fine.
Super well.
Okay, I'm going to do one more on the alcohol thing. What is someone zoozled?
They're drunk?
They're very drunk.
Never heard that one.
That must have been something somebody said when they were drinking too much, and they go, we're just going to use that for you all the time now, because I don't know where that came from. If someone is being taken for a ride.
Yeah, they're being cheated.
Or they say, take a ride.
No, take a ride's telling them to get out.
Get out of there.
Being taken for a ride is being cheated. Right?
Yeah. In that context, for that day, it was a gangster phrase. It means if you take a ride, they're taking you out somewhere and isolated and take care of you.
Well, that's another one. Okay.
Yeah.
That means taking you out.
Taking you out. Taking you out. All right, Elijah.
Taking you out back.
Moving up to the Generation X, where Mom and I grew up in. And I'm just going to give you a few of them and see if I can find one you don't know, because you know most of these, because like I said, I mean, whatever, that's not a Gen Z term.
Whatever is definitely not a Gen Z term. That is just a normal American language at this point.
How about as if?
As if? Yeah, I know that one.
What is it?
As if. I mean, I use it without thinking about it. It's like saying something isn't, like when someone says something, you're like, as if is
that's
like
not real. Right?
Like say that it's not accurate.
Right. Yeah. Crib.
As if you wanted it to be real. That was more like.
So that's actually used more by our generation, probably.
Well,
and that's a gangster term, too.
Oh, my gosh. Did you know that hella is from our term? Our generation is listed as one of our.
Yeah. No, that's probably accurate. That's millennial. It
maybe so, because this is very, very a lot. I don't think that showed up in ours. Mall rat.
And that just means absolute, by the way.
Yeah.
That term.
Wait, let me see the spelling of it.
Just one word, mall rat.
Like a mall rat? Someone who like.
A mall rat?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're saying mall rat.
Mall rat. Mall rat. MALLRAT. Mall rat.
Oh, okay. I thought mall
someone
rat.
Who's at the rat. Someone who
hangs out at the mall.
Yeah, someone who hangs out at the mall rat. VCR is not a slang term.
That's just I don't remember what the acronym stands for, but that's just VCR.
Yeah, it's VHS tapes. Video.
You don't use
cassette recorder. VCR, video cassette recorder.
VHS.
What's a yuppie?
I don't know. Like a drug?
Up and comer, usually referred to like a 30-something that was making their way up the ladder, business ladder.
Young, urban, professional. Yep, someone moving up the thing. Okay, so gnarly. Is that still used?
Not really. More of like a making fun of the older generations. That's gnarly, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that kind of thing.
Like in cartoons, you know.
I mean, grody was definitely one I heard a lot in our generation. Not guys. Guys didn't use that term. It's more of a girl thing.
And gross.
Yeah, I've heard grody from girls too now.
Fat. PHAT, fat.
Yeah, that, I mean, I read that one earlier, but I've never heard it because everyone immediately assumes, you know how fat has been treated in this day and age, so.
Yeah, it's not.
But what is PHAT referring to?
It's
actually
cool.
like
it's
cool.
Fat. That's
but no one uses it like that.
No, because it's become a, yeah.
Well, because FAT is also just fat, and that's usually an insult.
And that's got to do with, you know, what is it? When they don't look at their body the right way.
I mean, also, if you can just call someone fat, that's just something that's existed for a while.
Yeah, that's just not nice. What's the term, you know, all you guys in your mental disorders, but it's the
body positivity?
body
dysmorphia?
Dysmorphia or whatever those things.
It's not what do you have BD? Body dysmorphia.
I mean, like, that's a real term, but then they just
it
took
is.
it and
I'm
used
just
it
saying, so you can't call someone
Everyone
fat because
turned it and made it bogus.
Those are all the political.
Yeah, so you just call them obese.
Right, which is so much better.
Tubular.
That's cool. I know it's good,
tubular,
and it's from
it's
Bill and Ted.
I actually don't believe anyone actually used it.
Ted's
a lot of these are from Bill and Ted, and they were
totally tubular.
Yeah, they were goofy valley terms that were not used often and way overdone in that movie.
All right. So clearly, the thing that's interesting is, though, I'm reading this Our Generation, Yours and Mine, Tonya, and as I'm reading that, I'm thinking everyone knows these words, and he didn't know at least one of them. I mean, some of them did hang over, but he's like, I have no idea. And so, but when we were reading the 40s generation things, we knew some of them, but most of them we didn't know what they were. And so it just shows about how much we need to realize in our culture that if we want to pass on something of value, we have to
might
be very, very
use real actual English.
You need the internet, really.
Yeah.
Because real actual English translate to most generations. However, every generation, like we're going to see with the Gen Z stuff, cuts things short, I think, more than translate into new different terms, right? This generation...
It's a different list, so...
The Gen Z generation has tended to cut things and make them shortened, supposedly.
I'm about to have lit fam next to each other.
Wait. Let Mom finish her thought.
It's funny. It's just stupid.
Well, do you agree with me, Elijah?
What?
That the Gen Z new like slang terms have been kind of cut short.
Cut short, yeah, kind of.
As opposed to like some of the ones we read were longer even, but they were like making fun of a slant on a thought. Like the ones you read from the 40s, those were even longer sometimes.
Yeah.
But it was just, just literal slang terms. These have become a lot of normal terms turned into these shortened ones. One I heard earlier, I don't know if you've heard this or not, Kai and I were talking about it, is trend wife. No, trad wife.
Yeah,
sorry,
you talked about that, and I never heard that one before.
Okay,
so.
well, what's funny is it's not a big deal, but Micaiah doesn't want to be lumped into it because it's become a trend, but all it means is traditional wife. And it's really literally could be going back all the way back to the 50s and the TV shows where it showed the woman at home making meals, wearing a dress, getting prettied up for her husband coming home, taking care of the children at home and all that, right? But some of this generation are preferring to do that. Now they've got a name for it. I just think that's interesting. Well, right. In our day and age, that was just like
fam.
Yeah.
As we're getting ready to learn, though, there's one thing that's entered into every generation was affected by the technology that it was in. And the Gen Z is never known not having a screen of some sort in their face. Since they were babies, they've always had a screen of some sort in their face. And so Elijah was pointing out earlier.
Also has the screens in their face all the time.
And you can point this out to us as we go through your list here. But he was pointing this out to me earlier that a lot of these things, I remember I made the comment about W and they go W. And he says, it's not that it's harder to say, it's just easier to type.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why and it just happens to come
W's in chat and stuff like that.
Right. That's less about the screen. Because I was thinking our kids didn't grow up really initially with, say, phones in their face or even computers. But they started about probably 10 or so on some computer things, games and such. And then when the texting generation came around, that's where a lot of these came from. That's what you're saying, right?
Okay. Elijah, take us to town, teach us some lessons, and let's see what we can learn.
The first one it says here is lit. You know lit.
That's from...
Judah loves that phrase. At least they used to.
I don't use it that much. However, it's funny to use lit and fam together, ironically. That's pretty lit, fam, because it's like kind of totally tubular, but of our generation.
That's what we got to do. Now, what would that be from the... What did we say that was from the 40s one? That was the...
Actually, I don't really use... I use lit somewhat, I guess, but not really...
And that just means... good, right? It comes from light up or lit up.
Exciting fun is what it has listed here. I more just think of it as, I literally think of a fire and just it being like the same as calling it
powerful kind of.
Although that's like this. It's funny that we call things cool, but we also call things like hot as well.
Yeah, that's
really weird how we use a lot of these terms.
So lit up
what was the
why
40s
are men
one?
cool and women hot? That's my question.
Why are men cool and women? That's a good question.
That's a really good question.
Why in the world is this that way it is?
I've never liked
the next one is slay. I hate this one because it actually is used a lot by really annoying people.
Okay. What does it mean? Like to kill? To
I always make fun of them like, who are we killing?
Yeah. But in reality, it means to do something really well.
Like not kill someone,
this was amazing.
Kill what you were doing. Or
you slayed it.
Yeah, you're killing it.
That's when I was talking earlier about like queen and king. A lot of people were like, oh, you slay king. And I'm just like, oh, I want to kill this person. I want to slay you.
Hopefully not.
Can I slay you for using slay in a sentence? Yes.
But
it's like
killing
all the worst
it is
people
also
use
one.
These. So
like he's singing well. He's killing it.
Yeah,
so that's a strange,
and I've heard. I think that's been around a while.
It makes sense. Like I get it, but I hate how it's used because they always do the weirdest things with their voices. Mm-hmm. It's the culture that around it that I don't like.
Yeah.
Anyways, what's this? Ghosting. You guys know what ghosting is?
Yeah.
Savage.
Well, let's talk about ghosting for a second because people listening to us might not. It just means literally you've disappeared. No, you're not answering, right? Especially when it's texting.
That's a text thing
it
as well.
It's still a communication thing in terms, but you can still ghost in
in real, like you didn't show up to something.
We had like the internet as prolific as we have it now. But like a good example of when you've been ghosted is when someone literally just like all of a sudden blocks you on every like social media you have them on. That'd be a pretty good example of you getting ghosted.
About some of those
turn their back to you.
Ghosting, if you looked at ghosting in the real world, the way we would see it is you could have two people standing facing one another and somebody talking to the other person and the person just standing there not.
No, they just like turn around and walk away.
Turned around.
Talk to the hand.
Left.
That'd be ours. Talk to the hand because the face ain't listening.
Talk to the hand is like a snarky thing. Yeah. Everyone hates the person who says talk to the hand.
Ghosted is a report on what has happened. It's
a lot of the times, I'll give like a good example when ghosting's used. Like they'll just like suddenly come to a realization, maybe talking to their friends who are gossiping about this person, and then so they cut off that person that they've now heard gossip about
from any social,
because they love to believe everything everyone says about everyone else, even though they have literally zero trust in that person. Instead, a lot more trust in the friend that they just randomly cut off.
Yeah, those so the social aspect has been cut off.
Okay, all right. What do we got now?
Savage.
Well, I think savage is like if something is awesome, over the top, or like with great energy.
It sounds bad to me though. If something is savage, it's like the angle on it is harsh, but it might be a good term. But it's
okay. If
good
two boxers
and bad, it's more like, think of it like they did something. Maybe it was really cool, but with just they had like
no thought for others or no regard for.
It was ruthless or brutal.
Yeah, that's a good word to put it. That's what I was
like. Oh my! Like, say you just like decided to go in and in a game, you just go in and like kill the whole team on your own. It's pretty savage.
Gotcha.
It's really cool.
So like,
but you also just went off.
Barbaric,
it's interesting.
Okay.
I use savage sometimes, but not really. Glow up. Do you guys know glow up?
Yeah, it's what girls do in the morning with their makeup.
No. What does it really mean?
Glow up is like, so a good example is like that nerdy kid who was like super ugly, and then you see him again in like a couple years, and they're like super muscular and things. That's like glow up.
Okay, we actually had level up, which is also a gaming term somewhat, but the same idea, right?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Leveling up when we had little tennis balls.
It's like seeing someone's glow up. You see them and they're like not. Like they're at lower point, and then like that kind of thing, and it's just really
sound effects provided by Eliza.
Flex, you know what flex is?
When you stand in front of a mirror and you're flexing
showing your muscles.
It's just a show off.
But you're flexing, showing off. Okay, that's not necessarily.
One of my favorite ones was using flex, but it was like a saying, weird flex, but okay. And that's just like someone, like literally as it says, when you just call someone out for having a very weird flex.
Weirdly showing something they were good at or whatever, but
I'll give you an example. Mainly because this also became a joke amongst my friends. But it's like someone just talking about their life, and then someone else is like, yeah, my parents are still married. I'm like, weird flex, but okay.
That's a good flex. It's going to become more and more valuable.
It's like, I don't know about you, but my parents are still married.
It's also a funny joke from my other friends who did have divorced parents, and they said it was obviously a joke, but they said to me like, wait, your parents are still married? That's pretty cringe, bro. It's like, give it the times, dude.
That's funny.
It's like a
cringe,
half
but it's also really sad.
I was going to say, there's another term that you can use bad or good, right? It's cringe. It's either literally giving me cringe or it's
cringe,
really
bro.
Cringe on the
just the way they said it was so funny.
That's good stuff.
All right, low key and high key. I think you guys.
Low key is keep it on the down low. Yeah, that's what we'd say. Keep it on the down low. It's discreet.
So
it's
low
discreet.
key, not important, or right.
And high key is like, hey, high key. This is awesome, kind of.
Okay, so it's the opposite of low key.
It's literally just the opposite.
Well, so if you're
keep it on the down low, so when you tell somebody he's on high key, then you're like, you want to make it known to everyone. It's the opposite.
Post that.
Yeah, pretty much. That's probably why it became more of a thing. Yeah,
but people use low key the weirdest ways in sentences too, because I hear it all the time. I said, no, I can't remember. That's low key kind of something or another. Or that's low key this or that, and they'll saying it anyway.
So at a low level. So it means like even if I'm saying this person does this well, I might be saying it's a low key version of that, right? Not necessarily to the best.
Anyways, it's pretty obvious. Sure. The next one's tea, but I'm not a woman, so we can skip that one.
I didn't understand
salty.
That one anyway when you talked about it.
It's gossip, because what do women do around tea? They gossip.
Yeah, but I've never heard that term.
Spill the tea. You never heard spill the tea? It's like spill the beans, but it's more gossip.
I just haven't heard it used that way.
Okay, spill the beans.
Salty is the next one.
Salty.
Explain salty to people who may not know.
What is salt? It's bitter.
Yeah, or
it's like,
strong. I guess I wouldn't describe it as bitter. But
yeah, it's
salty.
just someone's being salty is they're like upset and they're like trying not to show it.
Okay,
Don't be so
bitter.
salty.
So they're trying to hide that they're actually irritated or angry or
It's bringing out the worst in you because salt brings out who you really are. It brings out the real flavor in something. So if you're saying someone's salty, then I would just be, wow, he's being salty. He's the most loving person I've ever met in my life.
Okay, that's
salt
right.
brings out the best of who he is.
You're
it's
weird.
Just they're clearly
commentator.
upset, but they're like trying to like that kind of thing.
For those who can't see, he just made a funny face.
It was
That
a cringe
funny.
face.
It was a cringe face. Huh? Go ahead.
All right, do you know what thirsty is?
What I am right now, so I'm going to take a sip of my water.
For normal humans, it means needs a drink of water. What does it mean for Gen Z humans?
Actually, well, that's a funny thing that you say that.
Is it?
Because you know how in some, I think kind of more older slang, but also things, some people will be like, oh, wow, that's a drink of water, referring to women and stuff like that.
Oh,
well, thirsty is literally...
She's a tall drink of water.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's what
She's
you're
a tall
looking
drink
for.
of water.
Okay.
Is literally, the thirsty is literally like desperate for
tall drink
or
of
like for usually in a romantic, or it says here, desperate for attention, usually in a romantic or sexual context.
Okay.
As in like, that guy's thirsty for women or whatever. You usually call someone out when they're clearly like leering on someone or something like that.
Leering.
They're irritating.
There's a term that spans the generations. Leering.
It's just an actual word.
Yeah,
Dad.
It's not
just an actual word.
saying. It's a word.
Yeah.
To leer at someone is a verb.
What's jeering? Is it the same thing? Never mind.
Jeering?
That's making fun of someone or to peg at them.
Okay,
It's a different
It's
word.
not a look.
It's
anymore.
a different word. That's what I just said.
Okay, this
It's a
one's pretty
different
obvious.
word.
Extra.
Extra meaning a little bit more.
Yeah, just over the top.
Yeah,
Or,
but it's
a
funny
lot
to
bit
be.
more. A lot bit more. Go ahead.
But for it to be used that way, just as the term, just like, well, that's extra, rather than
exactly.
yeah.
I'll give a good example. When my whole team used essentially all their resources to win one fight, I'm like, well, that was extra, and then we lose the next one because we had no nothing left.
We gave our all for one NPC.
It's like,
And
well,
not
shoot.
really in a sacrificial way.
Or sometimes you say it mockingly to the enemy team when you just got the objective, so now it's kind of irrelevant to use ultimates and stuff in Overwatch, and then they just all burn their ultimates, making the next couple fights really easy.
But I have to just find an ultimate.
An ultimate is like to put it in context, it's like an ability that takes quite a while to build up. So you usually, when you do use them,
it's over the top.
they're very good. They can like kill whole teams on their own if you know what you're doing. Yeah,
Gotcha.
essentially it's an extra ability that you only have like once every like 3-ish team fights, or depending on the character, more of them, but they're usually weaker ultimates.
So that's what's funny about
and so
these
like
terms.
say you have 5 ultimates and you all go in there and use them all and you burn them all, like great, you just won that team fight most likely, but the next team fight they're going to use them more sparingly, so that way you win more fights.
These terms that for us have been like, that would have been an adjective, now they have become kind of the not necessarily a noun, I guess, but used on its own rather than
Extra?
describing, need to be with another word.
And these
to
terms that we're going over
that's what's funny.
By and large are general to the community, but like Elijah said, like sip of tea doesn't mean anything to him, but in the gaming community, he might use the word ultimate
extras.
outside of the context of the game, where anyone who plays that game with him would get the.
Not really. I mean, depends.
Yeah.
Like just an
There's
ultimate
a few
ability.
you
That's
said.
still a
Well,
thing
that
outside of
word
the.
may not
You know
apply,
what
but you
ultimate
told me.
means,
Right,
and when I
right.
say ability, you also know what that means.
He
You
told
can
me about
kinda
some
put them
phrases
together.
like that would be true for the gaming community. That one, not necessarily, but there's a few that are. Anyway, keep going.
The next one's snatched. I don't really know this one though. I don't really care about it. Looks good, perfect, or fashionable. I've never heard this
You are
one.
tiny.
that
You
one.
are snatched.
Oh, cool.
Stan. Do you guys know what a stan is?
A stan.
Oh, it's a comment. It's a combination between a fan and a stalker, but not in a bad way.
No,
Are
in
you
a bad
serious?
way. It's definitely a bad way. It's a horrible way, actually. But yet people are somehow like
And
to call themselves stands.
It comes from a Gen Xer.
No, it's derived from the Eminem
Really?
song of the same name. I don't remember that being a thing.
It's an
it's a
Eminem
song?
song. Yeah, that's why I knew. That's why I had an idea.
But
what it was.
it's literally just someone who's overly obsessed about someone, where they like idolize and put them on a
gotcha.
pedestal. And stan culture is some of the most disgusting stuff ever.
So,
because like they
okay.
will like come to that person's defense so hard and like bring down other people. Like they
So
essentially
the
act as
person
their army.
may see it as positive. I mean, like the person who is the stan might
No, they're
think
just
of it
so
as
obsessed that
positive.
they're disillusioned.
But
They probably know it's
yeah.
horrible.
Oh well,
Or I
maybe
think
so.
they would.
So like they call it now Trump derangement syndrome. Those people are standing in the wrong direction. They'll do anything to tear it down regardless of building
Many people could easily say that those are Trump stands, yeah.
Stubborn.
Interesting.
But there probably are plenty of Trump stands, and very easily.
And
Sad
probably plenty
day.
of Biden stands.
Not really. No.
No. Nobody obsesses over ruining
Some
him
people do
like they
obsess over
do
Biden,
Trump.
but
No,
they're
he's
all,
saying that never
No.
mind. Yeah.
there's a lot more Trump stands than Biden stands, that's
Anyway,
for sure.
moving on.
He's kind of, what's called, he kind of built that culture with his community, though, as well.
Yeah.
Clap back.
I don't know. What it is.
Like a comeback?
Yeah, just like a quick, witty, sharp clapbacks.
A clap.
I've never really used
That's
this
what I mean.
as a word. You know, you don't need to use it, but I guess you can use it in
I
some
heard
cases.
snap back when he said it. so
All right,
yeah.
woke. You guys know that one. We could skip
Yeah,
woke.
woke is
I don't really
kinda-
care about woke.
Well, woke is funny though because it wouldn't have been there had it not been because obviously being quote awakened to problems around you is a good thing, but the word woke has become really a connotation for too over the top liberal agenda awaken, and it makes me sad because
It's also, I more think of it just like, oh, I've been awakened, but you can use it in a lot
Right.
of cases, like conspiracy theories as well.
That's what I said,
Like,
over the top,
oh my
right?
gosh, Bush did 9/11, stuff like then you're
We
apparently
didn't go to
woke.
the moon.
Yeah, those are woke
Okay.
things as well. Like people just
The
being,
Earth is still
it's literally
flat.
just like I don't know how to explain it.
it's
Just,
over the top, something that's gone too
conspiracy.
far or gone. Yeah, okay, that's
Okay.
interesting. I've never seen those conspiracies lumped there, but go ahead.
Gucci.
That's cool. That's like if it's Gucci, it's like
cool.
It's the
It's the best.
trendy. It's
The
in.
bomb.
It's in.
Good,
The bomb,
cool,
that was
going
one of
on.
ours,
Yeah,
wasn't
yeah,
it?
yeah. Gucci's. I've heard that a lot.
Yeah.
Noah used to use it.
I surprisingly, I do
Judah
use
uses
this.
that one a lot.
I don't use this one very often, except for sometimes to ask people if they're doing all right. Like, you doing Gucci, man? I will genuinely use it sometimes like that.
Okay,
Or I will tell people in response, yeah, I'm Gucci.
Gucci.
That's like that's the only time I'll ever use it, really.
that's funny.
So Gucci would be also like bougie. We use
Yeah.
bougie differently, but it's like a lifestyle of luxury if you're bougie.
I always think of it as like a
but
as like the
Gucci's just
in between
good.
of good and great.
Okay, bougie's not the same. I thought it was like high, kind of highbrow, like expensive or
Or Gucci's another way of saying like
fancy
chill.
taste.
It's I'm good and
okay.
chill.
So see,
I use it
Gucci's
in
more
lots
of
of
a
different
chill
ways.
and
I don't
good
know.
and great. Yeah.
It depends. It depends on the person, I guess. It's also just a weird one because it's literally a really
An actual brand.
corrupt brand.
Yeah.
Yeet, just to throw something. That's one that's
I just think of
you just
Kanye.
yeet something. That one literally just became popular because of a Vine where someone said yeet and like threw someone's can over
Oh,
like
seriously?
Yeah, it literally was just someone just made it into existence, and that's when it became a thing.
I remember Noah using that, and I thought it just meant like
No, it's literally just to like throw something really hard.
interesting.
Yeah, here
Okay.
to throw something with a lot of force can also express excitement.
Can also express
See,
excitement.
That's
so it can
well,
be both.
yeah, that's how Noah used it. I think. The
That's
first time I-
funny.
That's when people say like some people say yeet fam instead of lit fam. I don't really get that.
An excited family.
Okay, cancel. I mean that's I don't know how that's
Done with this. Cancel. Today's
Forget
cancellation.
you are done with me.
I'm
or
done.
stopping
done with
It's
someone's
kind of that is a talk to the
behavior,
hand, right?
unacceptable behavior, I guess, is what it says here.
It's
but I don't
trying
know how
to,
use it.
it's trying to make them void. Like you've decided they can't be who they are anymore, or in that
Still
way.
talk to the hand. Face ain't listening.
Yeah, same thing.
Simp.
I know what this one is. I'm gonna let
Simple?
Mom figure it out. It's
I
better.
mean, it actually, that's another thing. Is you can think of it as a simpleton, but someone who
let
a simp-
her think about
Thinks
it.
in a low way, kind of, or
It usually is
fool,
specifically
or-
referring to someone who is simping for someone else when they're doing way too much for someone that they care about, and usually it's one-sided, from what I can remember. Like a lot of times, this guy will be like simping for this girl, doing whatever she asks, and usually she obviously doesn't care about him.
Interesting.
That's
like
usually
being
when I think of
thrown
this
under
term.
the bus, kind
Like
of.
if this guy's not got a voice,
Hen-
of
Just
his own,
someone who's
is
way too obsessed.
Henpecked? No.
henpecked.
It's like a stand, but it's someone who, it's like actually there's someone there and there's another person. Like it's more
Oh.
not all over the internet.
Gotcha. Less.
So if I
farther
said,
away,
I would say in the
closer.
sentences, he's her simp.
If anything, simps are literally just stands, but male to females instead of females to males. But stands can also be for males or for females. But
Simp
usually,
Serious.
the reason I think
my
of it that way
gosh.
is because when I think of like internet culture and like celebrities, e-celebrities or whatever, stupid Twitch streamers and stuff like that, you have all the female streamers and they're simps, people who will do anything for them, and they'll like
interesting.
raid other people and just
So if
Oh,
you
harass
wow, like a
others.
servant.
If you
kind
call
of.
right?
someone
and
a
then
s-
and then meanwhile you got the male streamers with
simpleton
their
is right, though.
stands. They're who will also
what to
do
do.
whatever. They're just obsessed with them and will do whatever things. I never really.
Okay.
So if you call someone a simp stam, do you go back in time?
Yeah, exactly.
Or spin around circles?
Finesse.
Got to give it a little finesse.
Is it the same?
Is it the
Does
same
it mean
term?
the same as the actual
Give it
word?
a little-
finesse?
yeah.
Yeah,
Give it a little-
this one says to smooth talk or hustle someone or to steal.
Ooh.
I don't really think of it that way. I literally think of it as to just weave through something, like have something have finesse.
Get through a situation with a bit of finesse to
Yeah,
talk
because
your way
I
through
actually
it.
use this
'Cause
one
that's
quite a
what the-
bit, but I mainly use it with my gameplay. So I
Because
don't know.
finesse is a real word that usually means crafty.
Yeah, it is a real word.
Crafty intelligence, really, like a brilliant angle on something. They've got finesse, right?
That's what I think of when I think of finesse, but it sounds different. Like it's
Yeah.
being used
I don't
differently.
know.
It sounds more unsavory as a term, not used in a positive way.
Hype beast. I don't really know this one. I kind of know this one, but no one really uses it.
Oh, someone who's
Well,
over the top about the hype. The
The latest trends, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bougie. You guys know this one.
Yeah, we
But-
just said that.
Is that this one he just
I usually think of
Talked about
like
that?
when someone just like says something. Wow, this is overly fancy, or like this is
Yeah.
this is bougie. But I don't maybe use that one. I use it more of a mocking
same.
way sometimes.
yeah. Maybe that's what
Cap
it means,
and no
okay.
cap.
Yeah, I don't know about those. Is it just?
Judah uses those, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he does. Is it capitalized or not or no? What's it mean?
Cap means lying. No cap means they're not lying. So like, dude, that's like when someone says something, like, dude, that's cap. I don't really get where this one. I forgot where this one came from, but there's a reason that it's this.
Weird.
But I never use it really.
Judah will say it in the sentence. He'll say something true and
It's
no
very
cap,
popular in Valorant, which is a game I play. But so I think it might have spawned from there, like from a streamer who plays that game. But because I know it comes up mostly in that game, or like
Interesting.
people who make fun of the game also bring that up a lot, like no cap and stuff like that, being really really over the top with it.
Okay.
Next one is sus.
oh, that's
Yeah,
easy.
that one's
Suspicious.
Do you know why sus became such a big one though?
No, why?
and
Where's
same
it
thing.
from?
It got
It
cut
became
short, right?
no. It's a game made it really popular. Among Us made it extremely popular, which is a game that blew up during the COVID pandemic. And it's literally just a like murder mystery game where someone's a killer or two people are a killer,
the one
and
that
then
was
a lot of people are like that guy's sus, and it became like, and then it became a huge joke, and then it became, and then it like
No, is
kind of
that-
died and was made fun of, but then it became such made fun of that it became a really funny joke again.
So is that also related to the fact it's easier to
Interesting.
type
That's
sus than
crazy.
suspect?
Yes, kind of, but because there was text in the game, so yes.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, cool. Anyways, the next one is vibe check. Do you guys know this one? I actually use vibe a lot.
Yeah, what's your
vibe is
vibe?
like
What's
a
your mood?
Northwest. Yeah, that's kind of a Northwest term, just mostly because it tends to be a sort of spiritual term. Like it's an unconcrete sense that's in the room or that's good or bad.
I like vibe because it's a lot more understandable than like people who talk about people's energies and
Right.
being super weird about
your
that. 'Cause
vibe?
I hate that stuff. But yet vibe I really relate with
Okay,
because
get it.
a lot of times you can tell people's vibe but just how they're acting, you know? It's not like you're not
yeah.
like trying to see it when it's not there. It's like what's the surface
What's
level
actually
stuff. What's the
attitude
vibe?
coming from
But,
them,
yeah.
which is the vibration. That's probably where it comes
Exactly,
from.
yeah. It's the
energy
vibration.
putting
that
off.
they're giving off.
I think
yeah.
of it like in jazz, let's say it's a cool vibe, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Jazz
Vibe,
music.
vibe. Like the standard for vibe is like it's a chill. A lot of times
It's a chill.
because like I think of Vibe Chat, which is the name of the Discord I'm always in, or just the
You're
name
not
of the
allowed to
Discord
be
group.
anything. If you get too excited, they throw you out.
It's just a vibe, you know.
Yeah.
Which
No, you can't be
means
simp
it's
in
chill.
that chat.
You can't be sure. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, next one, goat. You guys know this
Greatest
one.
of all time.
I use this one a lot. This is
Yeah.
definitely one I use a lot because it's really fun calling people goats.
That was an accident, but it was timed well.
Okay.
What'd you do?
We did a wah, wah, wah.
Okay. Yeah. The goat. It stands for greatest of all time. Pretty easy. Ghost kitchen. I do not know this one.
Oh, wait. I have to make a comment. The only reason I know GOAT is I was telling Elijah earlier. We refer to Rush Limbaugh as the GOAT of radio conservative,
yeah. He referred toward the end there. And maybe other people said, he was using that
Yeah.
in his thing.
That's why I know that term.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Ghost kitchen, a kitchen that serves exclusively
Ghost
through delivery,
kitchen?
often for multiple restaurants. Yeah, this is definitely a COVID
It's a time.
thing.
From COVID.
Yeah.
I don't really care about it. Receipts.
Oh, evidence.
Yeah,
Bring the receipts.
this is mainly became
yeah,
also
that
popular
made-
because of cancel culture. People were requesting the receipts of people when people were like, because it became so common for people to cancel things and then not have any evidence. So then people were like, "Can we see the receipts?" Kind of thing.
I heard that referring to a court proceeding with either from the Trump or the Biden things the other day. That's interesting.
It's a good way of asking for evidence.
That, yeah.
Asking for the receipts, because that's literally what receipts were supposed to be. Is like evidence of a transaction or of something going on. Shade.
Don't throw shade.
Yeah, don't throw shade.
I know that's a
how do you
dark
define
spot.
Disrespect is more.
Don't disrespect somebody. Yeah. Okay. I'm feeling good about my Gen Z vernacular.
Fire.
Here. That's on top. It's awesome.
It's
That's
like
fire.
the opposite of cool, but also it's not the opposite of cool because it means the same thing basically.
It does not mean that you are literally burning alive. Call 911. It just
do you
means
say it by itself? Do you say
that's
just
fire?
Okay. Do you guys know what bop means?
Yeah, Judah says it all the time. It's a great tune.
Yep,
just a great bop.
Just a good
Micaiah
song.
has a great bop.
That's a bop.
He'll say that's a bop.
Interesting. I mean,
Bop, bop, loo, bop.
I was going to say, back in the 50s, there was shoebop and
bop.
Yeah, it's literally just a common music term that became also like just common term.
just separated out from its own self. That's funny.
Fit.
Fit, F-I-T.
Yeah, this
Something
should be obvious.
that's in health and it's in good shape.
No, it's just someone's outfit. Someone's fit.
It's an outfit.
It's literally just
they're
it's
fit.
a short.
So that's a typing thing. If you
All
put
right,
it
what's
into
this
it,
one?
I bet you
Drip?
that's a text messaging thing.
Do you know what drip is?
That's clothes.
Yeah, but it's specifically, I guess it says here specifically a cool, sexy, or fashionable sense of style. I always think of it as like making fun of someone who's like getting really over the top expensive clothes.
Well, see,
They got
I think
that drip.
I think of the heavy
it's so funny 'cause
jewelry
it's
and all of
stupid.
the, if someone's wearing really big.
Interesting.
Also, because there was a lot of
That's
memes
bling.
around that.
That's not
That's
drip.
bling.
That was bling from my
bling
day.
is hip hop culture. So I think drip. I think hip hop culture. But
I think if people wearing like an expensive Gucci jacket and like expensive shoes,
Nice
and then
drip.
playing really a specific music track, and then usually making fun of something. Anyways, there's a lot of things making fun of people's drip. Anyways, e-boy and e-girl. It's just someone on the internet. It's a TikTok thing, really. I don't use it very often. I use it making fun of people.
Well, we have so much E these days, like even referring to
Email.
the new cars, EVs. For a while, it took me a second to realize electronic vehicle. Oh, okay. Everything's electronic, so the E in front of everything. So electronic girl or electronic boy. Is it a false one? Is it like made up? Or is it just referring to somebody that's on it a lot?
A type of fashion or persona found on the internet influenced by emo, goth, and skater styles often seen on TikTok. I don't know. It's just really...
They wear a fashion because of it?
I don't remember that. I just think of someone online. I think of usually when I think of e-boy, e-girl, I also think of gamer girl or gamer boy. And something like that. All right, bet. Do you know bet?
No. What is that?
I've heard it a lot.
Bet?
I've heard it a lot. Bet like somebody be talking to you, you can bet. They just say it as a word by itself.
So think of it like making a bet with someone, but it's more like when you make a bet with someone, you guys both agree to do something.
Right.
But bet is just like cutting the agreement out of it. Like, hey, you want to do this? Like bet. Just like
they're agreeing,
acknowledging that they're going to do that.
Using the word agree.
Yeah. Well, like
there's two syllables.
Like not using like
letters.
we'll do that. It's just saying like, all right, well we can do that. A good example, I guess, if you're playing a game and like if someone's like trying to put together some really stupid strategy, and they're like, all right, bet we got this.
Okay.
Well, but
it's just acknowledging that that's what you guys are going to do.
This is good.
Well, agree is hard.
Not that I'll remember any of it.
I'm going to keep going to the fact that it takes longer to type the word agree than bet.
This one's both confusing, but also kind of makes sense. Mood.
Well, that's generally
putting forth whatever it is that they really want you to.
Do they use it like a noun?
Mood.
Yeah, they don't use it as you're thinking. It's like that's a mood when you're saying that to someone because you just like see something and you can relate to it in a way, but like maybe not at the moment, but you've definitely related to it before. It's like, yeah, that's a mood in terms of someone. How to describe it here? Something relatable or indicative of one's current emotional state. Yeah. I always think of it as something relatable, but not maybe at my current moment, but I can relate to it still. Like that's a mood I've been in before.
Been
we would
there,
generally
done
say
that.
you're in a mood, right? So
yeah, it can be used like that too.
Like been there, done that. I tried to say that 3 times.
Yeah,
Nobody
but
listened.
I no, we heard you. I think that when we think about in a mood, I don't think we ever use it in a positive light or in an agreement light. We would just say if someone's in a mood.
Yeah, right.
CEO of, we talked about that earlier. It's just, we know what CEO is. I never really heard of that. Spill the tea. Don't really care about that. Karen. You guys know Karen.
Yeah, well, she's a terrible human being.
No, but let's explain it because I hear it and I hear it sort of referred to, but no one's really made. But what I thought of earlier was like a soccer mom who decides they're going to stick their nose into places probably where they really don't need to be or they're too loud and boisterous about it. They tend to tend to be in the public eye, but kind of giving off a certain persona that is really not what everyone would agree with, but they think everyone would. I don't know.
Once they often
close.
Kind of. They're like moms who think they deserve everything because they were existed, because they're entitled and demanding, which is what it says here, and they use their privilege to get their way. It's like, I worked so hard to be here. You need to get your blah, blah, blah. A lot of times racists will also be called Karens, like people who are literally just going up to like, what are you doing here?
Certain
you need to be back
behaviors.
over the border just because someone looks Mexican.
Karen
Like,
is-
what the
Yeah.
frick? That's
We had
that's
one-
Karen is typically a white person because there are no other racists in the world. Only
We
white
had-
No, there's
Exactly.
plenty of Karens that aren't white, but most of the time, yeah.
We
It's
had
like
a
an
lady
older white
walk
woman.
into our garage. Remember when we first moved in, when we moved in Washington, there was a lady that came up and made certain assumptions about us because we were renting from Middle Eastern people who I think was her real agitation was toward them. But to see us, she began relating to us like kind of that way. Made me think she feels like she's in charge of the neighborhood. She's here to protect the neighborhood. She even said that. We were coming in, number one, we were renters, not buyers. There were certain things about us that made me feel like she had this attitude toward us.
I believe you, but I don't remember that for some stupid reason.
Thankfully, it waned over time. She's the one that sold, it was right next door to us. She sold her house and started renting it. So then I think, first of all, she was out of sight, out of mind, but also we were good neighbors. We weren't doing the things she expected us to do, I think. But I just think that made me think of that because her attitude at the very beginning was kind of like Elijah saying, "You're in my neighborhood. You don't have a right to be here. I'm the king of or queen of this spot,
Right.
and let me tell you how you're going to behave and stuff." And it was kind of offensive at first, but I don't know that she meant it that way. She was just trying to portray her protection of the people around her. Then we had the lady right across the street who was right the opposite, very welcoming, very unassuming. And we learned later she's of Jewish roots, so she had a real. I felt like she kind of related to other people as knowing they've come from harsh, treatment as maybe her family has, or that kind of thing.
Right.
So it was funny how right the opposite were neighbors wise. Anyway,
All right, what do we got?
Hits different.
That hits different.
Yeah.
just
It's literally exactly as it sounds.
like lands. We've said lands, how that lands or whatever, as opposed to how it hits.
It says here having a unique or significantly better quality. That's pretty, I guess.
Better quality. That's a positive spin on it. Because where I'm thinking hits different is that like if it just, you said the same thing in a
Affects
different way, or
different.
something's happened that's familiar,
Yeah,
or
affect-
the same, but it
How
just
would you
hits
use it?
different.
It hits different.
You know?
I don't know. There's a lot of ways you can use it. It can be positive, or you can still use it negatively, probably.
Okay, it didn't sound like
just
the
something that
description.
has more impact.
Yeah,
But they
that's what I
did the
thought.
same thing, but they changed it. Had more impact, or maybe,
okay.
or they'll even say that without there actually being something different about the way they did it. I don't know. Maybe just with no
It's
context.
what Mike Tyson's saying about his match with Jake Paul.
Not at
coming
all.
up.
Doesn't
That's
relate
going
to
to hit
him
different.
dating.
Ratioed.
To be ratioed? Is
know
that like,
ratioed?
Is it to be like if you're being ratioed, or to say ratioed? Is it is it a noun?
A good way of thinking about ratioed is when you have someone that's like
An adjective?
bringing their opinion out there on like Reddit or something like that, and then immediately they get a bunch of counter argument that they just got ratioed because they're trying to like act all cocky in one thing, but
percentage got overrun.
they got overrun by like complete disagreement. They got ratioed.
Oh.
It says here having more comments than likes on a social media post, usually indicating disapproval. Yeah, that's kind of. I like to think of it more when someone says something and then someone comments on that, and that comment got like thousands more likes on it than the other person's original comment. The next one is skirt.
That's a girl, right?
I don't know that.
SKRRT. Usually said
Okay.
like skirt skirt.
Okay.
Yes, like that.
What?
Interesting.
So
it's a
this-
bird term.
No, it's actually supposed to like kind of represent tires screeching, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but it kind of does.
Okay.
And I actually do sometimes use this one, but I more use it. A lot of people. It says here the sound of tire screeching often used to express a quick departure. I don't know what that
Okay.
really means.
So, like,
I maybe use it if
getting
I'm
out
like,
the way.
for example, running past someone in a game and like just really quickly, just like skirt skirt, just going right past them.
Sounds like something out of Mario Kart.
A joke. Yeah, exactly. You go past someone in Mario Kart. That's a good time you'd say it. It's literally like for me, it's more of a gaming term.
Okay.
Skirt. I would say that from now.
This one I don't
you're
really get.
walking together and you can pass me and you go
Yeah.
skirt skirt. Now there's an
dumb.
image that stays in your head. Tonya passing Greg while walking on a path. All right, moving on.
I'm not even really going to care about IYKYK. I don't know anyone who types that. If you know, apparently. But I've
really
said if you know a lot, but I don't really use that.
Well,
So
I don't
that's
know
a term,
that's
like
a lot
YOLO.
of work. IYKY. I mean, that's typing. That's just typing, right? Somebody's typing that
Yeah.
into.
Well,
but
like
I don't think
YOLO,
most people know
though,
what
it's
that is.
become just a phrase.
TLDR or like I know and like TTLR talk to you. No, sorry, TTYL talk to you later. Those are some ones I know, but I don't really know IYKYK. That's a mouthful.
What's silly is my brother will send me.
And I hope no one says
texts
that out loud.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Is some of this
Because
stuff
if you know is easier to say than IYKYK.
Yeah, no one. Well, that's
YOLO.
what it is.
YOLO's a text thing. That's
Yeah,
You only
but
live once.
You
This
only live
would be
once,
the
yeah.
text. It's probably
Anyways,
not them trying to
It probably
say
is
it.
text, but still.
Yeah.
Big yikes. As we talked about this earlier. Bigger yikes, I guess. I don't know.
Then just
I definitely have
Insanely
said it,
embarrassing.
kind of, but I probably have said it before, but more of just like a joking, like a
Yeah.
ironic thing. Send it.
I don't know.
do it.
Just go for it. Like full commitment.
Okay.
So Nike
So
needs to
not
change
necessarily
their.
put
A
it
good
in the
example,
mail.
like those ultimate abilities I was talking about before. You could be like, all right, I'm going to go for it. All right, send it. You know, just like
Okay.
tell them, cheering them on. Go for it. Go kill the whole
This
team.
is only because they really don't put things in the mail. They don't know what it actually means to send something.
Mom, you can send it with a lot of things. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm thinking that we just need to come up with an alternative sneaker with an S on it and just call it send it instead of just do it. Just send it.
All right, you guys know chill.
That landed
cut out
hard.
that, yeah.
Well,
We got
that
chill.
joke hit different.
Chill makes sense.
Chill is easy.
Chill pill
Just
is what we
chill
were in
out.
our generation.
Chillax.
Just relax, yeah. Dead ass.
I don't know what that is.
Just like serious. Like,
Oh,
you
okay.
dead ass?
Deadpan. Okay.
Okay.
Anyways, RN, which is just, I mean,
Registered
I use
nurse.
that. No, it's right now. It's just a messaging thing. Like,
Oh,
you just type in RN.
Yeah.
Like, hey,
Yeah,
hey,
and I use
You free
BTW.
RN. You free right now?
Oh, okay.
I use
easy one.
BTW too, and I always
By
get
the way.
auto-corrected to by the way. I'm like, why in the world? I'm deliberately, and you're just going ahead and
That's
writing
what
it out
this
for me.
generation.
Why is it
putting
some of them
the-
like some of them when I'm reading them, I'll automatically spell out in my head, like say in my head, but some of them I will not. Like LOL, I never think of laugh out loud, but WTF, I always think of and
Wally the fried rice.
yeah, well, like fried rice or
What
like
the Friday?
yeah, and like some of my
What the
like
fridge?
BRB, I won't ever think of be right back. I'll just think of BRB or AFK as AFK instead of away from keyboard. But like ones
I
like
didn't know what AFK stood for.
Away
He said
from
AFK the
keyboard,
other day. I was
yeah.
like, what's AFK? Away from keyboard.
away from keyboard, but like what WYD, I'll always think of what you doing, which is what that one means.
Joey,
Now
Boy,
I
how
message
you
a lot
doing?
to like Don, most of my
That's
friends.
funny.
how you doing?
It's just an easy
Yeah.
way
What
of
you
like
doing?
just messaging that to someone. Like
Quickly
you
say.
doing anything right now?
Yeah, connection or whatever. That's just funny.
How
well,
you doing? What you
Okay.
doing?
So this,
That's this list, but there's some on here that we're actually not on.
I mean, apparently
Like
we've
sheesh.
rewritten the dictionary
They're doing
because there's
what?
like.
Do you guys know
several-
sheesh?
Yes, but does it mean something different than it did for
Well,
me?
Kind
I
of.
used to use it all the time.
She used it a lot.
Some people,
Sheesh.
yeah, but like it's turned into a sheesh where you like completely making fun of someone. Yeah, that's how people say it. I never say it that way, except for just now. Yeah, they literally do that, and it's like what did you just do?
Right.
That kind
Oh,
of thing.
sheesh.
Interesting.
Is all
It's
we
literally
do.
just thing, but
Yeah.
but it also became like a meme where you did like this. I don't know what it was.
What?
It was a stupid TikTok thing. I don't get it either. I never understood the joke.
So that's where most of this comes from some
A lot of these
meme
are
that they've
TikTok.
created from.
Sheesh
yes,
is used to hype
response.
someone up if they're looking good or doing something good. I guess apparently it's also that. Didn't know that.
Oh.
Didn't really care.
So for us, it was more a response. Sheesh. Like,
Yeah. Oh, sheesh.
we almost got knocked over or almost got ran over. Or
Don't know
something.
that one.
That's
Catch
just
these hands. You guys know that.
What?
What is that?
I don't know. I just skipped it.
I
Catch
can't even
these
say
hands.
I'm weak. Do you know I'm weak?
it. Well, it's how I feel most days.
It's literally just I'm
Tired.
weak. I use
Is that a gaming term?
it can be a gaming term. Like when I think of weak, a lot of times or
Don't
like
have
another one
much.
is one. Whenever I talk like whenever we call out in certain games when someone's basically dead, you call them either weak or you call them one. Like Anna's one. They're 1 HP is what it's supposed to kind of mean. They have
One
one
hit
health point.
point. Or health point.
But you can
Hit
also say
point.
they're weak, as in they're probably about to die. And
Almost
you can just
have nothing
you can just
left.
shoot them and they're dead. You know,
Ah.
like
Probably
there's one, they're one.
about to die. Is what
Yeah.
he just said.
So it's
just
a
so you're
little
clear, he
bit like-
abbreviated in his own word about it.
It's a little bit like when you get up
Gotta
in the
die.
morning and feel
There's
weak,
other clues that-
but it's actually in a game.
I'm weak. I'm dead. Okay.
Well, that would be the opposite.
Main character, I guess, is
That's
a phrase
central
used to
person
describe
in
someone who is generally well liked and charismatic. It can also be used to describe someone making a scene, but not necessarily in a bad way. Calling someone a main character. I usually think it's an insult, kind of like the world revolves around them kind of deal.
Well, I've heard the wisdom is that you are always the main character in your own story.
Sis, this is just a shortened version of sister.
Which is not a good thing. No.
That's a woman thing. I don't know.
Sis. What's up, sis?
Slaps. This is one I actually do use.
Slaps, Judy uses a lot
That slaps,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, that slaps. It's just
pretty amazing.
really good.
It's pretty awesome.
I don't really get why it slaps the thing, but maybe like that slaps.
Yeah, or
like a knee slapper.
Like a knee slapper. Or
better than a face slap. That
Demands
slaps.
a clap or something.
I'm trying to be funny, but it's not working today.
I think that's all of them. Small. It's literally just SMOL. And it's just a stupid way of saying something small and like cute.
Really? So it doesn't stand
like
for
people will
anything?
type it a lot of times.
Well,
No. It's not as small, and in most cases exceptionally adorable.
So like you'd hang on the O, like a small.
I always say small.
So that's SMAL.
What's a Sue?
I know.
SUE, because that's Grandma's middle
Sue.
name.
That's a sus, Mom.
Oh, it does.
Sus.
Can't see it from here. Look like SUE.
This ain't it, Chief.
It's in the blank.
That's funny.
Is what?
This ain't it, Chief.
You're wrong, dude.
It sounds like a little movie
That's just
line.
disapproval. It sounds like, it is like a movie line or something. I don't know.
Okay.
I do use this one a lot. Calling people
Saying it,
Chief
Chief.
is just kind of funny. That is all of them, I believe. I don't think there's anything here.
Well, just to point out, we spent
A lot of time.
one half of our time talking about two generations and the rest of the time talking about this generation.
I'm
which
telling you, they
is
created their whole new
characteristically
dictionary.
that's what this generation thinks of itself anyway. They're worth a lot.
Hey, you guys didn't talk
I
about
want to talk to you about what I was talking to
the
Mom about
W
earlier real quick,
thing.
though.
Yeah,
Because
what?
we mentioned it, but we didn't talk about it.
W? Yeah, we did. W stands for win, and L stands for lose. Usually, like...
That's just funny to me. Because you know, instead of saying win,
Mom, you don't...
say
People
W.
don't say W very often. They usually say, like, oh, that's a... Some people say dub. Like,
dub.
that's a
Yeah.
dub.
Okay, I've heard that
Or that's
before.
an L, because
Right.
L does work more better than lose.
That's a lose.
And a lot of times when they say that, though, they're also like, or like when people are spamming W's in chat, because it's really easy
Yeah.
to hit W enter, then typing in WIN enter in chat and stuff like that to spam W's. I'm like, yeah, it was really good, I guess. I
Yeah.
don't know.
So they go.
That's funny.
Yeah, they do. People do that kind of crap all the time.
So you just see
That's
dubs.
funny.
It's not where.
Yeah, no, it's just
That's a tongue
dubs.
twister.
No, one thing I was thinking about talking with Mom about that I think is pretty funny is when you take like certain game call-outs out of context.
Okay.
So like, a really funny one is in Overwatch, which is the game I play a lot. There's a character known as Diva, right? And Diva is a tank. They're in a mech. And when their mech gets destroyed, they pop out of their mech and you play as their little pilot, which is just, they're pretty small and like, it's just a girl with a gun. And that's Diva
And just a girl with a
outside.
gun.
Yeah, so then we call it though Diva and then Baby Diva when they're outside of the mech.
Okay.
Which has evolved into people saying, all right, kill baby.
Oh my god!
It's so funny because it's a very normal call out for me and my friends.
But it means
But
something
outside of
entirely-
context, it's kind of fun.
Yeah,
It's kind of
not
it's not
gonna be
funny. You
something
might
wanna
want to use an
do.
argument with somebody over that one right there.
Eek.
Kill
Yeah,
baby.
That's funny.
It's like,
So-
kill baby. It's literally a normal call out in the game.
So what we're saying here, the whole context of this is we have a communication gap.
Well, it does. I think, if we want to have a serious tone to end on, it does. It's just the point that you and I make a lot in this podcast is that generations speak differently, but it's not always. The whole thing was younger generation
Like
always
you,
wants
right?
to say something. Yeah, hang on, we're almost done. A younger generation just wants to talk that way, so the older generation won't understand them. But this is a clear example of a younger generation talks the way they do, not to hide what they're
Just
saying, but it's
based
because of
on
the
their-
way the culture has shifted.
Yeah.
The technology has made a huge impact on Gen Z. They really speak in another language, not because they're trying to create it, but just like anything.
It has naturally evolved through what they've had, which is texting, like we said, makes it so that you don't want
Gamer
to type
culture.
out every word. Whereas in the past, we would produce books, we would type even more words to make sure we're painting a word picture or whatever it might be. Then it became computer where we could write actual letters or whatever full. But then when it came down to text now as a big communication way, we, get literally just even contact friends or whatever. Then it's got to be quick and it's got to be to the point, and a lot of times it's not going to be long text because that's difficult to do with all your thumbs going 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's
but
difficult.
what made me think of too is the context of what we were talking about with our kids and with the generations, it's important to kind of get your communication straight. What does this or that word mean? You heard Elijah say several words that were normal words, really, but then he used them completely different than I've heard of. So I think that's fascinating because it makes me think of reading the scriptures too and going and trying to figure out what they were understanding, what they would have known, or what their cultural framework for the words they're using. And it just makes it richer and fuller. It doesn't necessarily change a lot of times the meaning of our words in scripture that we're reading from Jesus or whatever, but it does help us make a fuller understanding of what Paul was trying to communicate to the churches, or how the illustrations of the farming communities and stuff that Jesus would use, if we can understand a little bit more of what they're doing. So right. I think that's why it's kind of fascinating to learn it. So thanks, Elijah.
Thanks, Elijah.
Thanks for sharing your generation with us.
This is it. It's another episode, wrap up of another episode of Ask Mom and Dad. We're so glad you got here.
And kind of a crazy one.
Is that how you wrap it up? You say bye?
Keep on.